Can you feel your heart doing that thing right now? That specific thing it does. When something arrives that is too good to be immediately trusted in the full and open form of someone who believes completely that what has arrived is exactly what it appears to be, without the specific and Virgo form of protection that keeps the heart from going all the way in. Before the trust has been established in the earned and confirmed form that the Virgo requires, before the going all the way in is allowed as the safe and proportionate response to whatever has arrived that is too good to be immediately trusted in the full and open form. That is the thing the heart is doing right now. As the title lands and the don't freak out lands with it in the simultaneous and slightly overwhelming form of the happiest you have ever been, arriving as a promise before the evidence has arrived, to confirm the promise as the real and arriving thing that the heart wants to go all the way into, and the Virgo is managing it from doing before the confirmation has established the trust that the going all the way in requires. Do not manage the heart, not for this reading, not for what I am about to deliver, in the 4 layers it was given in, that I am going to give you now, all 4, in the exact order they came through, because the order matters for how the 4th layer lands, which is the one that changes what the happiest you have ever been actually means for the specific Virgo this reading found, and that you need to stay for before the reading closes and carries you into the days that follow it in the happiest you have ever been form that is approaching right now. Virgo, my beautiful Virgo, stay with every single word. The first layer, and this one is about the don't freak out. Before anything else, before the happiest you have ever been, and what it contains, and where it is coming from, and when it arrives in the specific and chiffered form that this reading will deliver, before the first layer closes and the second opens. The don't freak out is in the title, because the person who was given this message for the specific Virgo it was meant for knew something about the Virgo that the message was being given for, in the specific and particular form of someone who knows the Virgo way of receiving things that are too good to be immediately trusted in the full and open form. The Virgo way of receiving things that are too good is to find the catch in the specific and immediate form of a mind that goes directly to what might be wrong with what appears to be right, before allowing the right to be received as fully right, without the catch having been identified first and assessed and found to be either manageable or absent in the specific and confirming form that allows the full and open receiving of the right thing that was too good to be immediately trusted, before the catch was checked for and found to not be present in the disqualifying form that would prevent the full receiving of what arrived. The don't freak out is saying there is no catch in the specific and direct form of the message that knows the Virgo and is therefore saying first what the Virgo mind is going to look for first before it allows the receiving of the happiest you have ever been to happen in the full and open form, that the happiest you have ever been deserves to be received in by the specific Virgo it is arriving for. There is no catch. I am saying it clearly and directly in the most direct form available, because the Virgo mind needs to hear it in that form before it will allow the check for the catch to reach the conclusion of not present and the full and open receiving to begin. Spirit wants me to say something else here before the first layer closes and the second opens with what the happiest you have ever been actually contains in the specific and arriving form that this reading is delivering for the specific Virgo it found. The happiest you have ever been is not a comparison. I want to say that clearly, because happiest you have ever been can sound like a comparison between the current state and all the previous states that are being measured against to produce the superlative of the happiest in the ranking form of something that is better than all the previous versions of the thing being ranked. It is not a ranking, it is a quality, the specific quality of being fully in your life for the first time in the specific and arriving period that this reading is describing as the happiest you have ever been in the quality form, rather than the ranking form of what that phrase actually means for the specific Virgo that this reading is for. The second layer, stay with me, because this is where the reading gets specific in the way that made me know this was a real message rather than the general and warming form of something that sounds like good news without the specific content that would make it useful rather than only pleasant. For the specific Virgo, it was always meant for. The second layer is about what has been standing between the Virgo and the happiest you have ever been in the specific and honestly named form of what has been present in the interior of the Virgo as the thing that the fully in your life quality has been waiting for to be removed or resolved or completed before the fully in your life quality could arrive in the happiest you have ever been form that this reading is naming as what is approaching. Whew. There's a specific and persistent doubt that has been living in the Virgo interior for a period that is long enough to have become something the Virgo has stopped consciously noticing as a doubt specifically and has started experiencing as the ordinary texture of their interior landscape rather than the specific and named thing that arrived at some point and installed itself in the interior of the Virgo as the doubt that has been present ever since the installing happened in the specific and particular moment that this reading can feel, even if the Virgo has stopped feeling it as the specific thing it is, rather than the ordinary texture of things. It has become, the doubt is this, that the happiness being described in the superlative form of the happiest you have ever been is for other people in the specific and quietly held form of someone who has watched other people in the specific and full form of the happiest they have ever been, and who has wondered in the private and interior form of the honest conversation the Virgo has with themselves in the quiet moments, whether that specific and full quality of the happiest you have ever been is something that arrives for them specifically in the same form that it appears to arrive for others who seem to access it more easily or more naturally or without the specific effort that the Virgo applies to the receiving of happiness in the checking for the catch form that the Virgo way requires before the full receiving is allowed. That doubt is what has been standing between the Virgo and the fully in your life quality that the happiest you have ever been represents in the arriving and specific form that this reading is describing as what is approaching right now for the specific Virgo it found. And that doubt is about to be answered in the most direct and unmistakable form that a doubt can be answered in, which is not by an argument against the doubt that convinces the doubter. In the rational and persuading form of something that proves the doubt wrong through the marshaling of evidence against the position the doubt is holding, but by reality arriving in the form that makes the doubt irrelevant, because the thing the doubt was doubting is now present in the real and visible and undeniable form of something that exists and that the doubt was wrong about, not because the argument against the doubt was persuasive, but because the reality simply arrived and made the doubt unnecessary by being what it is in the real and present form that the doubt had been doubting would arrive for the specific Virgo that this reading found. The third layer, and this is the layer that contains the specifics, the specific form of what is arriving and from what direction and in what particular configuration of the happiest you have ever been quality that this reading has been describing as approaching right now for the specific Virgo it found. Spirit is showing me three things that are arriving in the same general period, and that together produce the specific quality of the happiest you have ever been for this specific Virgo in the matching and particular form of something assembled for the exact person it is arriving for, rather than the general and approximate form of good things arriving for anyone who happens to be in the path of good things. When they are arriving, the first thing, a clarity in the relational or professional or personal dimension of your life right now that has been unclear in the specific and frustrating way of something that has resisted the Virgo's attempts to understand it clearly in the analytical and evidence-based form that the Virgo applies to unclear things, and that this specific unclear thing has been resisting, not because it is inherently unreadable, but because it was not yet ready to be read clearly in the time the Virgo was applying the analytical process to it before the clarity was ready to arrive in the full and landing form it is now taking as the first of the three things that together produce the happiest you have ever been quality. For the specific Virgo this reading found, the second thing, a connection or a deepening of something already present in the relational dimension of your life, that is arriving in the specific and full form of someone choosing you clearly and directly and without the ambiguity that choosing sometimes comes wrapped in when the chooser is not yet certain enough or not yet ready enough to choose in the full and unambiguous form that this choosing is taking as the second of the three things that are arriving together for the specific Virgo in the happiest you have ever been, period, that this reading is pointing toward as within the next 21 days. 21 days, Virgo, in the specific and grounded form of the time frame that Spirit is showing me for the arriving of the three things that together produce the quality that the title is naming as the happiest you have ever been. For the specific Virgo this reading found. And the third thing, the most significant of the three, and the one that produces the fully in your life quality, more than the first and second combined, in the specific and interior form of what the happiest you have ever been actually is. For the specific Virgo reading this right now, a moment of rest in the full and complete and earned form of someone who has been working in the sustained and sometimes invisible form of someone whose effort has not always been met with the proportionate recognition that the effort deserved and who has continued working anyway. In the Virgo way of continuing, which is quietly and without requiring the recognition to continue, even when the recognition was absent and the continuing was the only available form of the thing that needed to continue. The rest is arriving in the specific and full form of someone who has worked long enough in the sustained and sometimes invisible form that the Virgo works in, for the rest to be the kind that does not produce guilt or the restless form of rest. That arrives for someone who stops before they feel they have done enough to justify the stopping in the earned and proportionate form of a rest that is as full as the working that produced it was sustained. The rest is earned in the full and specific and completely earned form of something that has been worked for in the sustained and invisible in Virgo way. That earns the full rest rather than the partial rest of someone who stopped before the earning was complete. And the full rest is what produces the fully in your life quality that the happiest you have ever been means. For the specific Virgo, this reading found, because the fully in your life quality requires the full rest as the specific and interior condition that makes the fully in your life possible. In the present and unguarded and open form of someone who is finally simply here in their life without the guard and without the check for the catch and without the managing of the heart that the Virgo applies to the things that are too good to be immediately trusted in the full and open form. Whew. The fourth layer, the most important one, the one I need you to receive, in the full and open and unmanaged form that the don't freak out was always pointing toward as the way of receiving what this reading was always going to deliver. For the specific Virgo, it was always meant for, I feel a question in you that has been forming since the second layer, when the doubt was named as the thing that has been standing between the Virgo and the fully in your life quality that the happiest you have ever been represents. The question is, what if the doubt is right in the specific and familiar form of a doubt that has been present long enough to have a history of feeling right about the things it doubted before they either arrived or did not arrive in the form the doubt was doubting? They would arrive in, for the specific Virgo carrying the doubt that has been present long enough to feel like the ordinary texture of things rather than the specific and named thing that this reading has named as what has been standing between the Virgo and the fully in your life quality. The doubt is not right. I want to say that directly and without qualification, in the most direct form available, because the doubt deserves the direct answer rather than the gentle suggestion. That would leave room for the doubt to remain in the uncertain space between the direct answer and the gentle suggestion. That is where doubts live longest. When they are not met with the direct answer, that removes the uncertain space that the doubt was occupying. The doubt is not right. And the proof is not an argument. The proof is what is arriving in the 21-day form of the three things that together produce the fully in your life quality that the happiest you have ever been represents. For the specific Virgo, this reading found, I want to give you something before this reading closes in the permission form that the doubt-carrying Virgo specifically needs before the 21 days And the three arriving things that together produce the quality, the title is naming. Permission to let the heart do the thing that it was doing at the beginning of this reading. When the title arrived and the don't freak out landed with it, in the simultaneous and slightly overwhelming form of the happiest you have ever been, arriving as a promise. Before the evidence, let the heart do the thing, without the managing, in the full and going all the way in form that the Virgo has been protecting it from doing, in the check for the catch protection that has been applied to the things that were too good. For as long as the doubt has been the ordinary texture of things in the interior of the specific Virgo, reading this right now, let it go all the way in, because there is no catch. And the fully in your life quality that the happiest you have ever been represents is assembled with your specific name on it. And arriving in the 21-day form of three things that together answer the doubt with reality rather than argument, in the undeniable and arriving form of something that was always going to find the specific Virgo it was assembled for, which is you, reading this right now, with the heart doing the thing it was always allowed to do. For this, you are protected, and the doubt was wrong. And the happiest you have ever been is not for other people. It was always for you in the 21-day and three things arriving form of something that has your name on every piece. And that is now in the specific and approaching and real form of something that was always going to arrive for the specific Virgo who found this reading, with the heart doing that thing that the title produced. Before the trust was established in the confirmed and earned form that the Virgo requires before the going all the way in is allowed, this reading is the confirmation. Go all the way in. Beautiful Virgo. The happiest you have ever been is 21 days away, and it has your name on it.